This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Today we have a dishwasher that's leaking from the right and left-hand corner. And this can be due to a dirty seal, this black seal here. Sometimes cement or detergent builds up over time, as well as food debris. And if we clean that stuff off, we can get a nice tight seal again. So I'm just using basically an old toothbrush to clean off all of that buildup, putting it in the water and rubbing all that stuff off. Making sure it's clean down here in the corner in particular. Just get into all the little corners that you can. And I'm just using some of the water that was left in the dishwasher. You can also grab this seal and pull it towards you. And then if you have it out exposed, you can clean it a little bit better. Then you can just put the seal back in. If you put it in back into the groove, not fully in, but just in somewhat in the groove, it'll make a better watertight seal between the door and the rubber gasket, and that will help to avoid the leak. These leaks can also be caused by placing large items like a frying pan or a large dish in the way. Some of the water can be deflected into the door and then leak out. So if you're having it happen only intermittently, it's probably due to how the dishwasher is loaded. If it happens every cycle, this should take care of it. Just cleaning this rubber seal and then seating it in, not fully, but 3/4 of the way in, it will create a better watertight seal. You can also fully remove the seal and just clean it underneath the dishwasher sink without having to use a brush. Is pretty effective. And if it's a real problem where you notice the rubber is no longer supple, it's kind of getting hard and crackly, then it may be good to actually replace the seal. They're very easy to take in and out. It's just held in by friction. So this is one way you can do it, where you can keep it in place, but just use a brush to clean it and then gently push it back into the groove, but about 3/4 of the way instead of all the way in. Dishwashers leaking from the corner of the door on the right or left-hand side is really common. It usually happens due to the gasket being either dirty or being pushed too far in, or there is no longer a really good watertight seal. So this will just take you a couple minutes to do. So this one's so dirty, I decided I would just go ahead and take it all the way out and then put it underneath the kitchen sink and wash it up. So again, there's no fastener, it's just in by friction. And I'm going to use some nice hot water, and just using your fingers you can get all this debris off. This stuff just builds up over time. And then once you get it clean of all that debris, I like to dry it off with a paper towel and then also try to clean the groove that it fits back into. And then I just put it in, again, probably 75% of the way into the channel. I don't push it fully in, and then I let the door close in on it to fully seat it, and I get a nice watertight seal again. But if you notice that sometimes it leaks and sometimes it doesn't, that probably pertains more to how it's being loaded in the lower part. Maybe if there's some big dishes or big frying pans that are deflecting the water toward the door and causing the leak. So we got it nice and clean. I'm going to clean the little channel that it goes into. And then to put it back in, I'll go ahead and start in either the right or left-hand upper corner and put in the gasket basically where it bends. Gives you a kind of a feel of where the corner is by how it bends. I'll push that into the corner and then just work it gently down into that groove. And I'm not pushing it all the way in, just most of the way in. There we go. And we'll go ahead and do the other side. So usually you don't need a new gasket, you just need to clean it up. But if you feel like it's brittle and no longer supple, then it'd be a good time to replace it. I'm just adjusting it a little bit to make sure that that bottom part's in there nice and snug. There we go. We can go ahead and close it, and then we give it a test. So that did the trick and got rid of the leak, and just should take a couple minutes to do. Really doesn't require, you could get away with using no tools at all if you're willing just to pull out that gasket and clean it. This is where the water level should be, where it's just touching the element would be perfect. That's the right amount of water. So hopefully that's been helpful to you and gets your dishwasher back working without a leak. Thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe when you get a chance.